Thanks. Appreciate it, Jason.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Woodlands Township Board of Directors public comment meeting where things got a little heated between you and Bruce Toth.
You think?
Let's start off, let's ask, where do you currently reside?
I live here in the Woodlands. My wife and I have been here and our 3 kids for, 19 years now, going on 19 years.
Very awesome. How long have you been involved in government?
I was asked to run back in 2011. A disparate group of people encouraged me to run. Up until that point, I'd been, a small businessman and a pastor. My wife and I didn't spend a lot of times doing large community event work. We've done a lot of marriage and family life counseling over the years. We walk with couples whose marriages are in trouble, and we love doing that. We've always had, a couple in our life that just need to be loved up and helped and encouraged. And that's what we've spent a lot of our time doing.
Very, very cool. What is your current position and maybe some of your past positions in government?
I have no position in government at all right now. I'm a former member of the Texas legislature.
Okay.
And was elected in 2012 and sworn in 2013, and it was a real honor to serve the folks of House District 15, which includes the Woodlands.
Okay. Were you for or against the original and the secondary road bond proposals?
The original road bond, I was very much against it.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It did not represent the interests of the people of the Woodlands. And there was a small group of elected officials within our community that was trying to marginalize people that were against it, and that's when I decided to get involved.
Okay. In taking the podium at the Woodlands Township Board of Directors public comment meeting, you claimed that Bruce Tough had slandered you as well as Gordy Bunch. In what ways did he slander you and Gordy?
He stood up, he sent out an email, and in the email, this is what he sent out to thousands of people. He said, Ken Vaughn of Montgomery County Tea Party, former District 15 State Rep Steve Toth, and Woodlands Township Board member Gordy Bunch. It appears that to be good and strong evidence that these emails involving political consultant Mark Davenport and county officials violated the Texas Open Meetings Act. Future investigations and grand jury will determine if a crime was committed. Bruce has taken a lot of shots at me over, the past few years, and I've always been, it's been water off a duck's back. Mm-hmm. I didn't come through the political farm system within Montgomery County, and so, you just get it. Mm-hmm. But when someone accuses you of potentially breaking the law and violating the law in a criminal act, a misdemeanor, Class B misdemeanor, you've got to stand up and say something. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the failure on my part over the years, every time Bruce has taken a shot at me, to just not say anything that, has welcomed Bruce to just go and assault someone's character and integrity by doing this. Mm-hmm. All the while, in this email, he chooses not to mention any of his close friends that are actually being investigated. Mm-hmm. And then and the thing that gets me is he says that, well, this is what Catherine Dominguez said. Catherine Dominguez isn't an attorney. Bruce Tough is an attorney. Catherine Dominguez is an elected official on a board that's subject to the Open Meetings Act. Bruce Tough is. Bruce knows that neither I, nor you, nor any member or citizen that wants to petition their government, which is the First Amendment, can ever violate the Open Meetings Act. Mm-hmm. Only a member of the Texas County Commissioners Court can violate it. Those are his friends, and he's taken the focus off them and putting it on other people, which is just wrong.
You claimed during the meeting that you couldn't think of anything that Bruce Tough did to support or advocate the road bond. Bruce Tough claimed he was involved and had things to do with it, and claims those accusations are false. What were your thoughts on that?
Bruce's only involvement was in trying to pass the original road bond. He was involved in and he mentioned it, in fairness. He mentioned that he was involved in a group that was promoting the road bond, the original road bond. It's called the Keep Montgomery County Moving PAC. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is that he says he's against backroom deals, and and he's against special interest groups having involvement in it. Well, this is, the Keep Montgomery County Moving PAC is a special interest group. They took, and here's an Excel spreadsheet, they've taken over $118,000 from developers and contractors to promote that original bond, which included the Woodlands Parkway extension, which only would have benefited a lot of contractors and developers. They took all that money and they made this deal in private. Director Bunch was asked to be part of this. And when he found out that, basically a small group of people put that deal together, he quit because they would not respond to the needs and interests of the people of South County.
Okay. And in an interview we did with Bruce Toth, he said that you contacted him by email and threatened him before the township public comment heated debate occurred. Is that true?
He needs to produce that email.
Okay.
I don't have Bruce Tough's email. He needs, I've got emails here galore of all the contacts, the communication that went on back and forth, of all the involvement. He also said that he was involved in promoting the second bond, right? He was not at all involved in it. It was Penny Benbow that put the meeting together, and I've got a list of all the emails that sent out, and I've got an email from Bruce thanking her for organizing the meeting, and an email from him thanking her for inviting him. Bruce didn't organize that meeting. Penny did.
Okay.
And when it came to the resolution, again, it was Director Bunch that put the resolution together, not Bruce Tough.
Okay. And what is the exact deal that was being discussed at the public comment section of the township meeting that Bruce was claiming lacked transparency? If you're able to speak on that.
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy to speak on that. So, Mark Davenport, who is a political consultant that works for two members of the court, I think it's Charlie Riley and Craig Doyle. I don't know if he represents any other members of the court. I just know he represents those two, because that's been communicated publicly. Mark reached out to the Woodlands Tea Party and said, basically, can you come up with a list that the judge can present to Commissioner's Court? And so that's what they did. Okay. It wasn't a perfect list. It definitely had issues that I could see with it, but we've got a huge mobility issue in our county, and we need something that, no list is going to be perfect for everybody, but we need a list that the county can get behind and support. And that's all really that was. It wasn't really anything more than that.
Yeah. And
again, according to the attorney, he used to work for the Attorney General under John Cornyn when John Cornyn was the Attorney General. The attorney that actually wrote the opinion on the Open Meetings Act back in the early 90s or late 80s said that only an elected official can violate the Open Meeting Act. You, as a private citizen, can petition your government according to the First Amendment anytime you want.
Is there anything else you would like to clear the air about regarding the road bond or the debate during the Woodlands Township Board of Directors meeting?
I would like to address something that Bruce said in your video, which was, he said that that he's a guy that has stood for the people of the Woodlands.
Okay. When
the reality is that Bruce has been a guy that has supported everything that the Woodlands Operating Company has done in defiance of the people of the Woodlands. These developers, they wanted this parkway extension. The people of Woodlands did not. We voted against it. 83% of us voted against it. And Bruce and his friends marginalized us and said, "Oh, it's just a little group of people that they just want to build a moat around the Woodlands. They don't care." And they made it a very divisive thing when it didn't have to be a divisive thing. On your video last week, he said, I'm a lean, mean government guy. When the reality is that this last budget that cut our taxes so much, Bruce voted against that budget. This is a guy that he's a nice man, but he's always looking for a parade to jump in front of and lead. Gordy Bunch was the one that really crafted that budget and leaned it down. Yeah. So that we, as far as a Woodlands Township, would have a lower tax burden.
he said in the meeting that he wasn't going to allow being attacked in the way during an open public comment section. If you could change anything about how the event took place or how you presented the issue, would you?
Yes. I did not know. He said it was a coordinated attack, like there was some vast right-wing conspiracy that was attacking Bruce, and only an attorney, only an attorney and elected official, after they disparage someone's name and slander them and libel them, would then claim to be the victim. There was no coordinated attack. If I had known that Chuck was going to be there, and if I had known that he was going to say the things that he said, in retrospect, I would not have presented. I would have just passed and gone to the following meeting and said something.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea he was going to do that. And frankly, and I'll say this publicly, I don't agree with what Chuck did.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I could coordinate if I don't agree with what the guy did.
Yeah.
Chuck called out the whole township.
Mm-hmm.
And, he said they have a lack of integrity. He called into question their character,
Mm-hmm.
Their courage, all sorts of nasty things. And I just thought that was wrong. Gordy and John McMullen and Peggy have done a great job. Ed Robb, he's a spiritual leader in our community, pastor.
Mm-hmm.
To call his integrity into question
Mm-hmm.
in an open forum like that was just plain nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And while the First Amendment gives him the right to do that, I just think it was really uncalled for. Go ahead.
We're speaking of Mr. Meyer, right? That spoke before you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are you currently running for any upcoming positions
No.
or planning to?
No, it's kind of nice to be home and be a husband and be a dad and actually make some money for once.
That's very awesome. That's very awesome. Well, anything else you'd like to say before we close?
No, thank you. Thank you for bringing clarity to this.
Very welcome.
It's really cool now in that there's so many forms of media out there. We truly live in the information age, and you guys are really enabling that, so thank you.
You're welcome, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Jason.
You're welcome.